everything you know about cycle syncing is a lie, and it's everywhere. Every TikTok influencer is talking about cycle syncing her workouts. They're telling you to only do yoga and light walking during your period and to save your heavy, high-intensity workouts for one specific week of the month. It sounds kind of amazing, right? A built-in excuse to take it easy, a clear plan that tells you exactly what to do and when, backed by what seems like science. Like I said, this is everywhere. But we need to talk about the truth behind cycle syncing. What does the science actually say about it? And why is this whole thing just a trend that doesn't actually do you any good, in my opinion? But what the fuck is cycle syncing anyway? Cycle syncing is the idea that you should tailor your workouts, your diet, and even your social life to the 4 phases of your menstrual cycle: the menstrual, the follicular, the ovulatory, and the luteal phase. The hashtag cycle syncing has millions and millions of views on TikTok. And it's not just influencers. Nike has a cycle syncing program in their training club app, and Alo Moves has a whole series called Synced. So what do they say? Cycle syncing will help reduce bloating, PMS, mood swings, fatigue, and will help balance your hormones. They say during your menstrual phase, keep it low impact. Think walking, stretching, easy yoga. In your follicular phase, you can do moderate impact, cardio, HIIT, that kind of stuff. Then during your ovulation, you can go hard, high intensity stuff, heavy weights, go get those PBs. And lastly, during your luteal phase, go back to lower impact workouts. Look, I can see why it's appealing. It promises a way to biohack your body, to feel more in tune with your hormones, and let's be honest, it gives you permission to take it easy. It's the ultimate get out of gym free card, right there in your calendar. On top of that, it's exercise advice tailored to women. A lot of scientific studies are performed only on men. So when we see something that seemingly has done research just for women, we jump on it. But when something sounds that simple and that perfect, that's usually when we need to ask, what does the science really say? Let's look at the research, shall we? Spoiler alert, it's not what they are telling you. The single biggest problem with cycle syncing is it's based on a perfect, predictable 28-day cycle that basically does not exist. A massive study found that only 13% of women actually have a 28-day cycle. Most women's cycles are between 23 and 35 days, and over half of us have cycles that vary by 5 days or more from month to month. And that doesn't even account for the millions of women with conditions like PCOS or endometriosis, or people like me who are on hormonal birth control, which, by the way, if you are, you do not even have a real menstrual cycle. A one-size-fits-all plan simply doesn't work when we are all so different. But okay, let's just pretend for a second that you do have a perfect cycle. Does it even matter for your workouts? The largest meta-analysis to date looked at all the research on this and found that exercise performance might be trivially reduced during your period. Trivially. That means the difference is so small you probably wouldn't even notice it. But the real nail in the coffin came from a major 2025 study from McMaster University. Researchers had women do heavy resistance training at different points in their cycle to see if they built more muscle during certain phases, like the trend claims, and what they found was absolutely nothing. There was zero difference in how their muscles responded or grew. The lead researcher said, "We saw no evidence that such practice is science-based." So you're probably thinking, okay, Liz, I get it, but I feel weaker and I am more tired on my period. It feels real to me. And that's fine, but that doesn't mean it's the same for every other woman out there. Nor does it mean that your hormones have magically made your muscles weaker. It's because of your symptoms. Stick with me for a second. I know this is starting to sound a little bit complicated, but just hear me out. Research shows that over 75% of elite female athletes report that their cycle negatively affects their performance. But the reason isn't some hormonal weakness. It's cramps, back pain, bloating, and fatigue. And that's totally valid. When you're dealing with painful cramps, of course you're not going to feel like hitting a new personal record on your squat. That's not your body being incapable. That's your body dealing with pain and discomfort. And that is my point. Forcing yourself to do a low intensity yoga class when you actually feel great just because some app told you to, that's leaving progress on the table. Not going to the gym because you are laid in bed with the worst cramps you've ever had is perfectly fine. So this brings us to the most important part. What should you be doing? And it's incredibly simple. First, the number one rule, listen to your body. Not TikTok, not some app. Your body gives you signals every single day. You just need to learn how to read those signals. Second, track your symptoms, not your phases. You don't need anything complicated, just a simple note in your phone or a journal. Instead of writing follicular phase, just write, for example, day 3, felt tired, had cramps, swapped heavy squats for goblet squats and a walk. Or day 15, felt amazing, hit a new PR. After a couple of months, you're going to see your own personal pattern emerge. And it's probably not going to match some generic 4-phase chart. And lastly, have options. I've had days where I planned a heavy lifting session, felt awful, and just completely switched to some lighter accessory work and stretching. I've had days where I canceled the session because my cramping was so bad. If you feel great, stick to your plan. Crush that workout. If you feel awful, adjust the intensity or skip the workout. But keep in mind, research shows that light to moderate exercise can actually reduce your period symptoms like cramps and improve your mood. So some form of movement is almost always the answer, but don't feel like you have to do this. It's totally fair not to do anything. So I think it's fair to say that cycle syncing is a viral trend that sounds good, but the science just isn't there to back it up. Our cycles are far too individual for a one-size-fits-all plan, and that performance differences are tiny. It's not your hormones, it's the symptoms that can come with them. And brands pushing apps, workouts, and all sorts of supplements are just using a trend to make money off of you. You know what's best for your body better than what any online trend tells you. So next time someone tells you to take it easy for 2 weeks out of the month because of your period, just take a second and ask yourself one simple question. How do I actually feel? And then just adjust based on that answer. It's that simple.